All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? Happy Wednesday to you. It is Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about education, not the traditional explanation or definition of education, but rather what happens in your life as you get older. What does that look like? How educated do you continue to be? Are you keeping up? Are you leaning into education, or are you just kind of taking what comes to you in this life? That's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up. All right, guys, what's happening? Happy Wednesday to you. I hope you guys are having an awesome morning. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about education, and this is a topic that is very important to me. It's something that in my own life I have really leaned into over the past decade, and it has been the biggest game changer for my life of anything that I've ever done. And I think for a lot of people, the whole idea around education has a specific definition for all of us, right? It has a definition that we believe is accurate, that we are shown as children to be accurate. Your education is what you receive in grade school, middle school, high school, on to college in some cases. But I think that a lot of us need to open our minds and open our creative thinking to what does education actually mean in today's world? Because I believe over the past 20 years specifically, since, information has been available to us at a higher level than ever before, the definition of education has actually changed. I know a lot of people that are extremely educated people that are highly intelligent and continue to grow their own intelligence. They continue to grow their knowledge, their experience, and they don't ever attend a formal education or higher education institution. And so your education is your foundation is the title of this show. And for me, this is a big deal because I believe in education in such a way that is, it's so important to who we become. The old quote says that who you will be in 5 years from now is, it's determined by the books that you read, the people that you meet, the information that you're able to gather. And so your education is your foundation. It is everything, guys. It's everything that your life can become is based on knowledge and experience and all the things that you can lean into that help you along the way to grow as a human being, to grow the value that you have to any organization or to your family. And so for me, one of the biggest things that I think about as a parent, as a father, as a leader, is education. It's what example am I showing for my children relative to their own interest in education? So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about if you were to grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to education, what does that actually look like for you? Are you a 3 or are you an 8, 9, or a 10? I don't think there's a lot of people in the world, to be honest with you, that would qualify as a 10. I know a few, not many. But when you think about the ability that we all have to become educated in today's world, I would argue that most education can be acquired for $0, for no money. There's so much information out there on the internet, on YouTube, accessible to you for not a lot of money. Books, of course, cost money, but I would argue it's one of the single best investments you could ever make, is to figure out what books to read. Invest your money in the book and invest your time in acquiring the knowledge. So education is quite the two-sided coin for me. You know, growing up, I was always good in school, always got good grades. I was never really excited too much about education. History was something that really excited me when I was growing up. It was my favorite subject. Math I was always good at, but it never really excited me. But in the world I live in today, in business, and in the world that I live in as a parent, education has become one of the most important things to me of anything that I do on a daily basis. How much time I set aside to read, I believe, will determine how successful I'm able to become, how much I'm able to take care of my family, how fast our companies will grow. And so I challenge you guys to think about that yourself. Think about, what does it take for you to get where it is that you want to go? Whatever you want to accomplish in your life, I believe the only thing that stands between you and being able to do it is the knowledge and the discipline to be able to execute on it. Well, the knowledge has to come from somewhere, and the discipline is an inside job, right? But when you think about how much information is available to you on any particular topic, right now I'm studying a lot on real estate, on finance, on business, in general. There's a reason those two guys over my shoulder there, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, the bobbleheads that sit back there, there's a reason why they sit on my shelf. It's a great reminder of the knowledge that I need to acquire in order to be the best that I can possibly be in business. But I want you guys to think about that. What is it that you're doing every day to increase your education? And then as a result of that, what does it look like for you to roll that down to your family, to your people, to the people that you work alongside of every single day? Your education is your foundation, guys. And if you don't have a good foundation, if you're not leaning in to continually improving yourself, you're not going to be able to make as much progress as somebody that is. At the beginning of this year, I set a goal to read 100 books this year. I am behind the pace that I need to do that, but I got, plenty of time left to catch up. I want you guys to think about that. What does it take for you to get where it is that you're trying to go? And so for me, reading 100 books was just part of the equation. It was part of what I felt I needed to do to take a giant leap forward in the right direction. And not just reading books, but what I read has made a huge difference already in the first 4 months of 2022 for me. I was asked by one of my mentors what difference it makes. And what I told him was, it has enabled me to walk into any conversation and to feel comfortable in that conversation and be able to add significant value to it. And so I ask you guys to think about that. What is it that you're doing on a daily basis to improve your education? Because those people around you who are achieving at a high level, those people who are doing the things that you admire, doing the things that in a lot of cases you probably wish you were doing, whether conscious or subconscious, promise you, they're improving their education every day. They're leaning into what it takes to be better as a father, as a mother, as a business leader. They're leaning into education. They're leaning into their own self-improvement. You get one life, guys. You get one shot at being the best that you can possibly be. So what is it that you're intended to be? It's a tough question. What is it that you're supposed to be in this life? And then the second question is, what is standing in between today and becoming that person? I would argue that it's education. What are you missing? What don't you know that you need to know? And who has that information? Where does it sit? You walk into my home, you walk into my office, you walk into anywhere that I actually, if you open my backpack on any given day, there will always be knowledge present. If you open and unlock my phone and you go into Audible or you go into Kindle or you go into any application that is available and one that people would use to acquire knowledge, it is full of the knowledge that I seek to acquire. I tell you guys this because I see a lot of people in their life that don't put enough emphasis on this. They will put more emphasis on watching TV shows that mean nothing to them than they will on education. And I believe that people are programmed to think that education is what we receive when we go to an institution, when we go to a school or we go to a university. That is education. Guys, education is all around us. How do we leverage the information that is around us? That's the question. That is how I judge others when it comes to their education. Are they really trying to learn? Are they investing the money and the time and the resources that it takes in order to get better? Are they part of organizations that help them get better? Are they part of groups that help them get better? Are they networking with the right people who are also trying to get better, who are also trying to move themselves forward? If you find yourself checking those boxes, you're probably on your way. But if you don't find yourself checking those boxes, man, I would suggest you start checking some of them. Get around people who are getting better. Start to spend your time watching things on YouTube that are educational and inspirational and motivational, as opposed to wasting your time watching shows that are meaningless, that just do nothing but make other people money. I'm not saying you shouldn't spend any time enjoying yourself. I certainly, consume things that aren't only education related, but the vast majority of what I consume from a content perspective is educational. And so when you look at someone's situation and you say, how has this person or these people been able to achieve so much in so little time? Your education is your foundation. When you have a stable launch point that is grounded in so much knowledge of what to do and how to do it, don't be surprised when those people are able to navigate the waters a lot faster than you are. And so I challenge you this morning to become that person. And if you already are that person, you're already involved in these things, double down on it, man. Challenge yourself. When I set out to read 100 books this year, I was unsure of exactly how that was going to happen, how I would figure out how to have enough time to read 100 books. But I will accomplish it. I was already on pace, and I'm still very close to the pace that it takes to read 100 books this year. How did I do that? Well, I had to sacrifice other things. I had to figure out how to create the time that allows me to listen to a lot of books and read a lot of books. I had to create the time in my life to do that. But as I started to do that, the return on investment, the ability to step into any conversation with a higher level of certainty was the return on my investment. The ability to take the knowledge of what I was reading and apply it to my daily life and help those around me, that's the return on investment. That education has become a foundation, not just for myself, but for a lot of other people. So I encourage you this morning to think about, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your own education currently? What are you doing every week? What are you doing every day that allows you to grow, that gives you the information necessary for you to reach the next level? Simple. You just have to stay committed. You have to make the time. You will never have the time. That's it for this morning, guys. Lean into it. Self-development is one of the greatest gifts that we all have of this age that we live in. The information is all around you. The people are all around you that enable you to reach any level you want. The gifts are all around us, guys. All you have to do is collect them. Hope you guys have an awesome Wednesday. I will see you again tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.